It's in the Cockpit time, that show where we don't have a set intro or formula to how do we do this. We just kind of,
Off
bullshit
the cuff,
into a mic.
Off the wing. Off the wing. Ah.
And that's been in the Cockpit. A bad pun, and this entire show has been a bad pun. In fact, our entire concept.
To be fair, yeah, I mean... You know the best part about the entire concept of co-pilots is?
What?
You're the one that pitched the name and you hate puns.
Yeah, but puns stick in people's heads, man.
I don't believe you when you say you hate puns. I'm gonna be honest.
I really don't like them. I'm not a fan.
Okay, so if we're just doing a normal catch-up thing, what have you been up to? I've been marathoning 2 separate TV shows that have massive catalogs, and I've been running through them, but what have you been up to?
I mean, I think since the last time we did one of these, I've listened to all of the Wiseman's Fear on audio books that exist.
The Kingkiller Chronicles, you mean? I thought you meant the band for a second.
Well, I have listened to the entire band's discography again. But yeah, I meant the Kingkiller Chronicles. And I've been listening to the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks as well.
I love both of those series of books. I think... Right now, I think I like Lightbringer more overall.
Because it's a completed series?
And I like a lot of the magic and stuff in Lightbringer. Don't get me wrong, I love the magic in Kingkiller.
Yeah.
But Kingkiller is more beautiful. Reading it is more beautiful.
Yeah, it has a much stronger prose, and it's
more descriptive.
Yeah, it has a really flowing quality to it, even when you're switching between what's currently going on and then the tales and then the kind of songs and stories that aren't integral, I would say, to the story, but add to the world and the book in such a way.
Whereas Lightbringer is rough. It's got a little bit of roughness to it, and it's a little bit rough to the world as well.
Yeah.
Even the time that Kavoth spends in Tarbia doesn't really, end up being, as rough and hard as some of the parts of Brent Weeks' world.
Yeah, how do we deal with this character who has fun, powerful eyes, but they're not maybe so powerful anymore? What if we just got rid of those?
Yeah, so I really enjoy both those fantasy series. Brent Weeks' Lightbringer series is 5 books.
Yeah.
And Kingkiller Chronicles is 2 books, a novella, and 2 short stories, plus an entire blog.
Yeah, with a bunch of short stories and stuff on it, so...
Yeah, both of those series are amazing. If you haven't read those, do yourself a favor. Read them or download an audiobook of them.
If you like fantasy books, they're both fantastic series. If you like really well done magic systems as well, they're both also fantastic.
I also like how different their magic systems are, right?
Yes. One feels much more set in logic and science, but because it's magic, it's still a kind of unknown science, but it feels very more...
You're talking about Kingkiller Chronicles here, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Although, actually, with some of the scientific stuff that's coming out, like quantum bonding...
Yeah.
Kingkiller Chronicles...
has some of that basis, yes.
Sympathy has basis in reality.
Yeah, no, it's very similar to quantum bonding.
Naming doesn't, though. Naming has no...
Oh, God, no. True naming anything in, any magic system basically never has, over strong real-world comparison.
Yeah.
But it does have a deep, deep history in folklore, myths, tales, stories, everything of... What if you know something... by its truest form, by its truest name? Well, clearly you have control of it. Then it's just I'm down with the idea, but who first came up with this? Because I feel like they were just I'm going to control you. How? Get me a drink, Doug. And then Doug just got him a drink, and he's like, I have powers! He was wrong, slightly delusional, but hey.
And then Brent Weeks' magic system is all color-based magic, based on the colors you see in light and
emotional ties to the colors. And I really do like how, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the colors apply to color theory and the way it makes you feel, and he works that color theory into how that actually does affect their emotional things, in that it's not all the same, but there are small connotations between each one and a lot of color theory for them. It's neat.
Yeah, the color theory between the ties between the colors themselves that they use for magic and the emotions they make them feel are all really tied together with our current understanding of color theory, even if most of it's kind of
bunk.
Yeah. Or cultural in general.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy a fun and great magic system, and both those book series have really, really great magic systems, and with such a degree of difference that it's enjoyable to think about both of them, because a lot of the time you're thinking about the way something's magic works, and so easy. It's like, oh, well, it works like this one, which, kind of works like this one, and they all kind of blend together, and it gets kind of weighed down and hard to mesh out pieces of what fits with this one and what fits with this one. Both of these are so strongly rooted in their two things, in their own things, that they work really well.
I actually backed a Kickstarter RPG, tabletop RPG, and it's called Lighthearted. I think I've talked about it before on this podcast. It's an 80s magic RPG.
Okay, yeah. I forgot its name.
But color theory is highly used in that as well. I'm just going to show you, like, when you start a scene, you choose a color as your character's primary mindset at the time, and that kind of influences their choices and stuff. Red being like that they're feeling angry or wrathful and or passionate. Red embodies hate, fury, or lust. But it's the opposite of violet. Violet is cold, disgusted, and bored. It's a total resignation or lack of empathy. And then there's orange, which is aggressive, violent, anticipatory. Opposite of indigo, which is sad and remorseful. Indigo is grief and hopelessness. Then we have yellow, which is the opposite of blue. Yellow is joyous and optimism. Blue is and you pick one of these colors, and that's your highest rated stat in that scene. And the two colors next to that are the next. So you put a D10 in that stat for the scene, and then D8s in the colors next to it, and D6s and everything else.
That makes sense.
But I'm really excited. I started getting artwork back from the game and like pages back.
Oh yeah.
So they're actually getting in that stage where the game's actually coming together. See.
Ooh, very nice. So the only thing that I would say like Lightbringer's magic reminds me of, it doesn't even like really magically tie into it. It just kind of reminds me of the world of, and that is Garth Nix's The Seven Towers.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the heads of these things are different colors, and I actually think they're basically all the colors, the 7 actual colors in the Lightbringer books as well.
I mean, there's 11 colors in Lightbringer.
The 7 true colors, the non-heretical colors.
The colors the Chromaria will teach you about.
Yeah, it's not a story that the Chromaria would tell you.
They're not colors the Chromaria would speak of.
Yeah, but
we hate Star Wars, okay, guys?
That's what it reminds me. But then their magic systems are different because, if I remember correctly, 7 Towers, they use sunstones that have to like sit and charge in the sun. And I don't even remember if the colors do anything different. I know people get promoted and like ranked in different colors, but I don't know. I think you get access to different magics.
It's been about
but you can use everything below it. It's been so fucking long since I read those.
It's been nearly a decade and a half. And all I remember is a battlefield that goes on forever and a train that falls off the world. That's all I remember.
Okay, I remember vaguely the structure of it. You had the people in the towers, and if you got to move low enough, you were part of the underfolk, which were like the people below the towers, who were like kind of peasanty, but like like scoundrels and survivors. Then you had the ice carls.
I love Garth Nix,
who were like against the tower people, and our main character falls because I think that's actually like the name of one of the books. It's been forever since I've read them, and he joins up with those people and then comes back to take out tower shenanigans and bullshit because obviously it's corrupt.
But also the like heads of the tower are named after the days of the week, not colors.
No.
Yes.
No.
Monday.
No. That's Keys to the Kingdom, bud.
Oh.
Another good series by him, but.
Oh, I was thinking of a totally different series entirely.
No.
So scratch that battlefield and train and.
Yeah, no, the train is Tuesday's domain, and it doesn't fall off the edge of the world. It bores new paths. They dig.
It definitely falls off the end of the world at the end.
Yeah, technically, but also no. They break it, and it's no longer digging through like the nothingness, I believe. So it just gets absorbed by it or some shit like that.
What books were you talking about again?
The Seventh Tower.
Okay, I read those. But
Yeah.
like that literally has been a decade and a half because I read those like when I was 10 and 11, and I read The Keys to the Kingdom in junior high, so like almost a decade and a half ago, 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah. The world and its people. Chosen. These are the masters of light and shadow, possessing magical control over sunstones and shadows. Sunstones have their own light and heat. They are grown from crystals or sun seeds originating in air. They are charged by exposing them to sunlight for extended periods of time. The charging is done above the veil in large nets. The larger a stone, the longer exposed, the more powerful it is, whatever. They're part of everyday life for the people of the Dark World, used in everything from giving light to cooking food. Chosen children are given weaker sunstones compared to primary sunstones, which older kids and adults use. However, a chosen who loses all of their sunstones is demoted to underfolk status, so I remember that part correctly. The chosen live in a castle with 7 towers, extends above the veil.
None of this.
A chosen is judged by their color level, which shows their ranking in society in descending order of superiority: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, or red.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I know I read these books, but none of this sounds familiar. My memory is garbage, and a decade and a half is a long time.
Oh, yeah. So I vaguely remembered parts of it. It's been a long time, though.
Yeah, I can see how like the color magic there ties a little bit to Brent Weeks and stuff.
It's just that it uses light to fuel the magic. Then its base root of standing and power is color. Mind you, the more colors you have, I think, the more stones you get, and thus more powers you can use.
Which is not the case in
No, you
Lightbringer. Lightbringer, you're kind of like...
Though, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, I think there's basically like a prismatic stone that the main character gets that would equivocally just be prism powers.
Yeah. In Lightbringer, you're kind of stuck with what you're born with.
Yeah.
Kind of. You
Kind
can,
of, yeah.
If you're,
it is like
if
some
you're
weird
an
stuff.
orange, you might be able to push into red if you practice enough.
Yeah.
Because like the colors are next to each other in the spectrum. But yeah, both of those book series are amazing, and both the Garth Nix book series are amazing, even if I don't remember them very well. I just remember Garth Nix is hella good. What's a book that by him that I actually do remember very well? Did he do
Immortal trilogy?
Yeah, Lyriel. I remember Lyriel so well.
Actually, I don't think they're a trilogy anymore.
They're not. Yeah, Garth Nix, amazing author. Brent Weeks, amazing author.
Patrick Rothfuss, amazing author.
Patrick Rothfuss is an amazing salesman. At this, like, he writes really well, and like all of his work is really pretty. But at this point, he's taken, what is it, 14, 13 years?
I don't fucking know, man.
2007, 2008 to 2021 to write a novel. And like, don't get me wrong, people have taken longer to write novels, but I just don't. I think at this rate, we're not going to get the end of King Killer Chronicles.
Maybe. I just know I have Spin Doctors 2 Princes stuck in my head now. I pulled up a list of Garth Nix books, and one of them is A Confusion of Princes, and that's just gotten that stuck in my head now.
That song is so good. What's the rom-com that has that in it? It stars Heath Ledger.
10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah, it was 10 Things I Hate About You. That's it.
Oh, was it? Cool.
Yeah, it had to be 10 Things I Hate About You. By the way, that movie is fucking good.
I always forget about the ending of the movie, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
I don't know because my memory is garbage.
I think that's the one where Heath Ledger and his sister in the movie are fucking with someone. I don't remember. And
Sounds like you're talking about Cruel Intentions.
I might be talking about Cruel Intentions.
I don't even know if Heath Ledger's in Cruel Intentions, so that's what it sounds like you're talking about. You know the great thing about having a shitty memory is, though?
What?
Because I don't remember, like, the ends of these movies or, like, these books, I can go back and read them or watch them, and it's almost like I've never seen them before. Like, I'll remember scenes.
Is it?
Yeah, like, that's great. That's just great. On the flip side, it means when people are like, hey, do you remember this episode or this scene? And like, because the answer is no. Well, you try to figure out if you're thinking about 10 Things I Hate
Yeah,
About
no,
You.
I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the wrong thing. We're good.
Yeah, I think you're definitely thinking about Cruel Intentions, which I don't think is a Heath Ledger film.
I don't know what I'm thinking about anywhere, like ever, man.
Well, I have been watching 2 shows recently. Supernatural, which is a massive undertaking. I'm on season 6 out of 15. So, what is that? Just about 40%?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. I've watched the first 4 seasons before, but like season 5 and 6 have been totally new to me, so that's cool.
I've watched season 5, I believe.
And here's the thing. Supernatural, I've tried to. Well, this is my third time tackling it. It's the furthest I've gotten in it, but it always just feels like it gets to a point where it's just too dark and dreary and like not fun to watch anymore. Like, I love the actors and the characters are great, but like it just gets to a point where it feels like a slog, like a slug, sludge,
Slog.
a slog. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. No, I agree with you entirely. Like, it just drags after a point because it's weighing itself down with all this dark grittiness that, while not bad, it doesn't fit the original tone of the show, and it's not the best done version of it either.
I would say season 1 and 2 almost have like a Scooby-Doo vibe to them. And like, as dark as Scooby-Doo can get sometimes, it's always like fun.
Yes.
Supernatural season 6, even season 5, feels like it kind of loses the fun. And that's why I've also restarted watching Burn Notice.
Again.
I picked up where I left off, so in season 4.
Yeah, I think we talked about you watching Burn Notice last time as well.
But I'm now on season 7 of Burn Notice, but I've been using it to like kind of break
Palate cleanser?
Yeah, like, and you know what? It works. Burn Notice is bright and fun.
I mean, bright just applies to like its camera. Like, it always feels slightly oversaturated.
Yeah, I think it's because they're trying to make you believe they're in Miami. I don't even know if they recorded in Miami, but
Yeah, but it was just, like, the camera always feels just slightly oversaturated.
Yeah, but like it's a good juxtaposition to Supernatural.
It's a bad juxtaposition to when it's dark and then I look at a screen because I'm walking into the living room. I'm like, ah!
Man, you don't even know. I was half asleep this morning watching the last episode I remember watching before I fell asleep. And Michael Weston was being interrogated by this guy.
Yeah.
And Michael's high on drugs that they've been using to like dope him up and like break him.
Obviously.
But like, so every time we cut to Michael, we kind of get like his view of the world. And like, he's sitting right next to a window. So this window isn't just like sunlight. It's like white.
Yeah.
And in a dark living room at 5:30 in the morning after drinking a bunch of vodka. It's literally just painful. So I kind of like turned my head away, and that's why I fell asleep during that episode.
You know what else is painful? Getting in a Snapchat while you're at work and seeing that 66% of your remaining vodka has been drank.
I'll buy another bottle tonight. It's okay.
No, you don't have to. I'm just fucking with you.
But I also started streaming again last night.
You did.
It has been about 5-6 weeks maybe since I last streamed. And mostly that's because work decided that it wanted to fuck me.
Yeah.
Normally, just to let you guys in on my life a little bit, normally I work second shift. Somewhere between noon and 11 p.m. That's my normal work schedule. 8 hours, somewhere in that range. But due to a myriad of issues, my shift didn't exist for a hot minute. So I was working third shift and first shift and over in the warehouses and wherever they could find work for me. And that meant for a week or so, I literally worked first shift and third shift back-to-back days. And that's painful.
Yeah.
And then they finally decided, hey, Josh, you know what sounds good? Let's just put you on third shift. And I'm not a third shifter, guys. Like, I'm awake during those hours, but I'm going to bed at 5 or 6 a.m. I'm not getting off work at 5 or 6 a.m.
It's not bad.
But, like, I was coming off of this week of not having, like, a sleep schedule at all to, like, trying to flip my sleep schedule so I could work third shift. And then I finally got that sleep schedule flipped, worked a week on third shift, and then they were like, okay, but now you're back to second.
Yeah.
Worked a week on second shift, and then they were like, hey, nope, back to third shift. And that's where I am. Except now they're like, there's also no third shift this week, so take the 5 days off. And I was like, what? I get to go back to sleeping normal hours? They're like, yeah, you should come. Second shift should be back next week.
Normal hours.
5 a.m. to noon is not normal hours?
Not stereotypically normal.
I think a lot of people are asleep during those hours.
Well, yeah, that's because people have different diurnal patterns because we're not actually entirely diurnal. And there have been multiple studies that show you should really sync your body up with like when you should naturally sleep. And
I think 11 a.m. is a good spot to wake up at. Like I think that's about when I think that's when normal people are waking up. 11 a.m.
Not like 9 at night.
But yeah, so I'm back on a schedule that fits me, and next week I should be back on second shift. So we're back. This comes out tomorrow, but I'm streaming all weekend. I'm actually I think this is the first time I'm actually pitching my username and not deleting it from the podcast. Twitch.tv/RarSpada4. I'm going to be live tonight while I'm recording this. You won't hear this episode before then. But when this episode comes out, I'll be live that night. And then I'll be live Sundays. My normal streaming schedule is Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm just streaming all weekend because I'm back. Last night was magic. We drafted some cube. I had to quit when I realized I was making too many mistakes because I was drunk.
Yeah. People tend to do that when they drink alcohol and play games that involve thinking.
At the same time, I was getting really upset because there was 2 games I should have lost, but my opponents got greedy and tried it. Like, they had the win on board, and they just tried to do more stuff.
Win more. Always win more.
And then gave me the win because they tried to do more and I could do stuff. Like, if they had just done what they had on board, they would have won. And, like...
Always win more.
As I was telling the chat, in Cube, you just take your win.
Avi.
You don't try to be fancy. You don't try to win more. You don't try to show off. If you have a win on the table, you take that.
But what if I like being fancy? What if it makes me feel good about myself? What if it's the only bright spot of my fucking life, huh? Do you think about that? Think about other people for once, man.
Then maybe don't play a format you have to pay to play. Just have fun playing Cube with your friends then.
But what if I have the money to burn? I don't have friends, and being fancy is the only thing that makes me feel good about myself.
Okay, well, feel good about yourself while I kick your ass because you try to overcommit.
That's fine. Yeah, see? I'm just saying don't judge people if you don't know their situation, okay? That's just rude.
Oh, okay, let me explain why I'm judging one of them at least. They were playing mono red aggro. They had the win on board if they just equipped the Ember Cleave to their creature, pumped their creature with its ability, and attacked me in the face. That was the win.
Okay.
But they tried to do something stupid and let me use one of my instants that I didn't have an opening for before then, and I gotta fuck them up. When they realized they had lost that turn, they just started spamming nice and wouldn't concede and wouldn't pass the turn.
Yes, that's a dick move.
See, that person is a person that tried to get fancy and didn't want to pay the price for being fancy.
Yeah, no, that totally, understandably, that's just fucking dumb and would be annoying.
Nice.
And I'd hate to play against that.
Nice. I muted them and just waited till they conceded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, also, because, assumedly, the smart and fantastic listeners that you are, you've already checked out Loki from Disney Plus.
It's been out for 3 days now by the time this goes live.
I don't think we're going to spoil anything, really, story-wise, but first episode was
I'm going to spoil
great.
something.
Yeah?
Okay, you remember when we saw the Timekeepers?
Yes.
Did you recognize any of them?
Honestly, I didn't pay much attention to their faces.
One of them is Kang.
Okay, one of them looked familiar.
Yeah, one of the Timekeepers is Kang the Conqueror, it's a spoiler for Loki, but he's already confirmed to be appearing in Doctor Strange?
No, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I also just appreciate how the TVA basically just throws out into existence that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well as in the comics, if your Infinity Stone or Infinity Gem is not in your universe, it does squat shit.
Yep, it just doesn't do what it's supposed to do because you're outside of your universe and it no longer has power.
Mind you, though, that then, so they have the Sacred Timeline, which is also a thing in the comics, but in the comics, they also, run multiversal stuff off to the side as well. So the real question is, where do those other Infinity Stones come from if they're correcting all the timeline back to one flow?
They're just leftovers from when they do the corrections, because they could take something from that timeline and then when they reset it.
Yeah.
That's what they reset the timeline Loki's from, but he still has his Tesseract that's going to be useless forever. And he still exists, and even though his timeline that he's from now is gone, because they reset that.
True.
So his Tesseract is somebody's pretty paperweight in the future.
You make a point.
It glows.
Yeah, they're just...
It looks better than my Infinity Stones.
You mean your plastic Easter eggs?
Yeah. So, I'm not a big fighting game fan. I do like some fighting games. Mortal Kombat's one of them. Smash Bros.
BlazBlue.
Marvel vs. Capcom. BlazBlue. So, when my local GameStop had Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity marked down for $50 for the collector's edition, I was like...
How much can I sell the statues for?
And I checked that, and they're all worth more than the $50 I paid for the game. So I bought it, and I've had the statues ever since, even though I've like bought it on the premise of selling them. They're too nice. The statues look really good, and I like them a lot. But it also came with the game and a steelbook, which is still sealed on my game shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
And it came with the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Which are Easter eggs that light up.
They look like shit. Look them up online. They're bad.
The ones that were advertised looked so much better, and then the ones that they actually like
didn't
shipped
people
out,
try to make a class action lawsuit?
I don't know, but I know
there's massive backlash about it.
Something like 40% of pre-orders for the deluxe edition were canceled when they
okay, yeah.
like, which is why mine was $50 instead of $150.
Yeah, it was bad. They looked absolutely horrible.
Yeah. I still have those in my closet because they're not worth showing to anyone.
And no one's gonna buy them.
Yeah. They sell for like $15 to $20 on eBay.
Ooh.
Ooh, indeed. Yeah, ooh, indeed.
So Tom Hiddleston's fucking great.
What a way to get us back on topic. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's fucking great. Not only is he playing the protagonist in this miniseries on Disney Plus, but spoilers for those of you who haven't finished episode 1 because you're naughty people and can't watch an hour of television in 3 days. He's also playing the antagonist in this.
I mean, maybe.
No, he's definitely the villain.
Is he?
Yeah, no. Loki is the villain.
No, they say that. But is it Loki? But is it Tom Hiddleston playing Loki? Because we know it's a different version of Loki. And we also know Loki is a shapeshifter.
Are you suggesting that we're actually getting woman Loki?
I'd be down with it. Especially because I think there's an official statement, or vaguely official statement, about how Loki is gender fluid.
That makes sense. But I don't think so. I think we're getting Tom Hiddleston playing the protagonist and the antagonist.
I mean, yeah, but Loki's given birth to a giant snake, a giant wolf. His father's 8-legged horse. Maybe not in the Marvel universe, but I mean, the 8-legged horse's name is like Sleipnir or something like that, right?
I have no idea. I know Odin has like a magic horse. I forgot it had 8 legs.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it has like 8 legs.
It's fucking spider horse.
And I remember Loki is the mother.
Loki has so many children.
Yeah, and most of the time Loki is the mother.
Yeah. I guess while we're talking about Loki, you should watch it.
Yeah, definitely. Do it.
Okay, so Falcon and Winter Soldier was good. It was good. The best part about it is it gave us like context for Winter Soldier outside of like
Yeah.
6 lines of dialogue in the movies and looking like a badass. That's his entire thing. So we actually have like context for him as a character now. Nice. But otherwise it was just okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
WandaVision was... I've actually heard a mixed take on WandaVision. Some people really didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it's obviously the best thing Marvel's ever done, and if you don't think so, you're wrong.
It's really fucking good.
By Marvel, I mean the MCU, obviously. Loki's shaping up to be really good. It's got a little bit of, like, Inception vibe going on. Like, just the color palette and the style of, like, the camera. I don't think that the story is Inception.
Okay.
Like, I'm talking, like, from a cinematic perspective.
I think the better argument there is, and has a very Nolan-like directorial viewpoint.
There you go. Very Christopher Nolan in the directorial.
Nolan did do Inception, right?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, like, you're very, very, yeah. So...
Like, I wouldn't compare it to Inception. I would compare the camera work to Christopher Nolan's camera work then.
Yeah, so, like, Inception was the one that my mind goes to because that's, like, the Christopher Nolan movie that sticks in my brain.
Yeah, I got you.
The most, other than the TDK trilogy, which is just really weird for Nolan, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, the second Dark Knight movie feels right for, like, Nolan. But the first and third one just don't feel like Nolan films.
Their Bane makes me laugh.
Their Bane makes everybody laugh. He's literally a meme.
Yeah, I fucking know.
But yeah, Loki's looking like it's going to be hella good.
It also disappoints me in those movies that Liam Neeson, first off, is Ra's al Ghul. Lets me down. And then the fact that Ra's al Ghul's cover name is the name of Bruce Wayne's other actual fucking teacher before Ra's al Ghul, the one that taught him to be like a fucking detective.
Yeah.
And like how to hunt down people and like fucking track like over the fucking entire world. Like they're just like, oh, that's just a pseudonym for Ra's al Ghul. I'm like, but why? That, like, I get it's a nod, but also now all you've done is just make me go, oh yeah, there's that really cool character that no one ever uses. Man, I'm sad now.
So, because we're still on Loki.
Are we? I think we're on Batman again.
No.
We end up there a lot.
No, we're on Loki. Because I need to talk about the MCU.
And you don't like DC, whatever. We always end up on Batman.
I do like DC. I just much prefer their, like, Justice League Dark side of the world. Like, that stuff. But while we're on
I understand.
the MCU,
Constantine is pretty fucking great.
While we're on the MCU,
damn it!
You know what I'm really hoping for from Loki and Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home? All these movies that have like this idea of an alternate reality tied to them.
I know what you want.
I want them to make the Defenders non-canon. The Netflix shows, I want them to fucking erase that
just
shit.
so we can get a better Iron Fist?
Yes. I love that Daredevil.
It's
I love
not that their actor for Iron Fist was bad, it's that their writing for Iron Fist was bad.
I want them to erase that I like that Daredevil, and I love that Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage was good, and Punisher's great, but I want Iron Fist erased from the timeline so we can get a new one.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
Their Iron Fist just was a bit of a letdown.
He punched his fist into the heart of a dragon, Justice.
Yes. And gained all the powers of a dragon.
Iron Fist is so cool. And it's so sad that they did him so dirty.
Yeah.
Hopefully Shang-Chi is good.
Shang-Chi looks like it's going to be good, and I'm down with it.
Shang-Chi kind of looks like what Iron Fist should have had going for it.
Yes.
Iron Fist should have been a like martial arts kung fu show, but instead it was like Green Arrow but bad. It was like Arrow but bad. Yeah,
you're not wrong. Like the bits that I've seen, because like I said, I haven't seen all of those because I was just like, eh. I saw the trailer for what they were doing with Iron Fist, and I wasn't on board.
I watched the first half of the Netflix's Iron Fist show, and then had to leave sobbing.
Really?
I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but only a little bit.
That's just sad.
He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. Him and Captain Britain, okay? Like,
really?
Well, and Taskmaster, but Taskmaster's going to be canon, so...
Yeah.
Are you worried about Taskmaster and Black Widow?
Yeah, I also don't like his mask. I know why his mask is the way it is. It's that way the film can sell in China because they don't like human skulls, and his mask looks too much like a skull, so they went for kind of tokusatsu-style helmet, but it looks bad. And I don't like a bad-looking Taskmaster. Also, his hood's down too often, and that looks bad. Because at least when the hood's up, it looks a bit better. But the fact that it's just like, look, faceplate, and then the rest of this is just a purple helmet cap thing. And I'm just like,
Also, we're getting Moon Knight, which is going to be legit.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
You wanted to swerve to DC for some reason?
Oh, no, that was just to keep you off of talking about Marvel.
Oh, it's okay. I love Constantine, too. That's who you brought up, right? Like,
yeah, because you were talking Justice League Dark.
Yeah, no, like, the entire Dark verse of Justice League, I've said this so many times now, is what I love about, like, DC. Like, that dark
so
side.
Since we actually are on Constantine, so you've seen the Constantine TV show from CW.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very sad that it only has one
Matt
season.
Ryan, the guy who plays Constantine in that.
And the voice actor for Constantine in Justice League Dark.
In a lot of the things. He's not always, but he is a lot of the time. Is also Constantine in DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he's
because they pull him in, and I don't know how. I didn't.
He's canon Constantine. I mean, before there was a reboot, there was a Keanu Reeves who played Constantine.
Yeah.
As much as I love Keanu Reeves,
Matt Ryan does it better.
Matt Ryan does it
I
better.
told you, like, and before you were like, no, and then you fucking watched the show and you had to agree.
Okay, look, Keanu Reeves is a god among men, and his Constantine movie is okay.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan is amazing though. He's such a good Constantine.
So Netflix's Sandman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, when they pull John Constantine into it, because he does have a role in Sandman, want Matt Ryan. Do you want to see more of him and see him pulled into the Netflix Sandman, or like, do you have that preference? Because I know a lot of the internet does.
I mean, if it's not him, then give it to Keanu, because Keanu's been in the talks for a Constantine 2 for a decade. So
True.
either give it to Matt Ryan or cement the fact that we're getting a Constantine 2 movie with Keanu Reeves. Either way, there's no need to recast Constantine. You got two great actors for the character.
So I really want it to be Matt Ryan just because I love his Constantine, and DC Legends of Tomorrow I'm not very interested in, but I want more Constantine.
I want to watch DC Legends of Tomorrow because it's got a bunch of cool characters on it.
It does, but
it also means I have to catch up with the Arrowverse.
And from my understanding, the first season is kind of weak.
Yeah. Anyways, new season of Hell's Kitchen started a couple weeks ago.
It did.
That's a good segue, right? I did well.
I mean, you could have done better if you'd let me talk to you about DC first, and then we could have went to Marvel, and we got on your Daredevil bit. You could have went talking about Hell's Kitchen.
Also, there was definitely a line from Constantine to Lucifer to Hell's Kitchen. I'm really bad at segues, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
If Lucifer shows up in Sandman, which he should...
But no, Lucifer has been cast for Sandman.
Oh, is it the same guy?
No, they're using... what's her name? She played... she was the blonde knight in Game of Thrones.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Gwendolyn
That's such
Christie?
a good casting. Jesus.
Yeah, no, people have have had massive problems with the casting for it because Death is played by a black woman, Lucifer is played by a woman, and we have I don't remember what the other problem that people have with it is. I have no issue with the casting that I've seen so far. Like, it seems perfectly fucking fine.
Hold on. It's one of the Endless. Lust? Is that an Endless?
No, I think it's Desire.
Yeah, Desire. That's the Endless. And people are upset because it's being portrayed by a gender fluid actor. People are upset because Desire is being portrayed by a gender fluid actor.
Which fucking fits for Desire so much and so easily. Yeah, I was right. It's Gwendolyn Christie. That's her name. I'm actually surprised I remembered that.
Yeah, no. I was kind of upset for half a second that Tom Alice wasn't being recast as Lucifer.
Yeah.
But Gwendolyn Christie playing Lucifer, who's supposed to look like David Bowie, I can buy this. It's going to be so good.
Oh, yeah. Also, I mean, I'm just down with Patton Oswalt. I believe he is voicing...
Yeah, I heard this.
Oh.
He's voicing one of the Ravens.
I've talked about him.
Ravens?
It should be Crow. It's the one who is in Swamp Thing who dies, and then because he's a shitty kind of person, and he dies in the dream, he becomes the Crow. And my mind is forgetting his fucking name, and it's actually kind of driving me crazy at the moment.
But he doesn't become the Crow. He becomes
a Crow. Yes.
That would be a weird jump between comic franchises, although not entirely unappreciated.
You're not wrong. Yeah, it'd actually be kind of neat.
I feel like the Crow would tie very well into DC Dark.
Yeah.
He'd be such a cool character.
Also, apparently, David Thewlis is playing Dr. Destiny.
My brain is not remembering the character because
Remus Lupin.
Oh. I could buy it.
Yeah.
Feels like we're kind of pittering out here, though, talking about Sandman, which is a great graphic novel series. It also has an Audible adaptation now, which I haven't listened to yet.
Oh, yeah, no, neither have I.
Neil Gaiman oversaw it, so I'm assuming it's good. But And then this TV show. I was going to wrap us down, but I forgot one thing that I just remembered. We got not a release date for, but we got an idea of when Bebop is coming. Live action Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, full. Also, I still just want to know who they're casting as Edward Wong Kao Pepelu Tefruski IV.
I don't know if Ed's going to be in the first season at this rate. I feel like the casting would have already been announced, right?
True. But if there's no Radical Edward, I riot.
Well, then I guess you have to make sure it gets a second season so Ed can show up.
No.
Why is the no? You're like...
I riot first. And then I'll watch it, so hopefully it gets a second season. I'm really just looking for excuses to, cause general mayhem and problems for people.
So you're like Limp Bizkit in the 90s.
Yeah.
I can't believe anybody would agree to that comparison, but...
I'm just going to ruin festivals for everyone.
No more Woodstock ever again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of festivals and Woodstock, and with the pandemic not over, but with vaccines happening and stuff slowing down, concerts are happening again.
Which is fantastic.
It's been over 2 years since I saw a band perform live.
And that hurts my soul.
I mean, Spo's helped. He did a bunch of free shows online, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no. Not going to a live concert slowly kills me inside.
But Alice Santa's doing their 10 years of the Emptiness tour, which is now actually 11 years of the Emptiness tour, which is funny because all the merchandise is still branded as 10 years.
But they were just like, fuck it, we're running it anyways.
But yeah, they're playing near us in August, and I think we're going.
That is the hope.
Alice Santa is one of my favorite metalcore bands. I know I haven't talked about them a lot on this show, because I haven't talked about metalcore a lot on this show.
I mean, we did an episode.
Maybe, yes. Alice Santa has... Their albums... Alice Santa's albums tell a story. They're conceptual music, like Coheed and Cambria, or...
The Wise Man's Fear.
Or Famous Last Words, or... There's some other ones God, my mind is just blanking. Anyways, concept albums. In Fear and Faith, self-titled.
Yeah.
Crown the Empires, The Fallout, is that the name of that album?
Yeah, I think so. Then they have like 4 songs that are conceptually all tied together and tell a story of a single person.
Crown the Empires, The Fallout is the lesser man's version of In Fear and Faith, self-titled. They tell the same story.
One just does it better. In Fear and Faith.
Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, self-titled, is also a concept album.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
SK are fun.
But
not necessarily great, but
I love albums that tell stories. I'm a sucker for it. And Alice Santa did a trilogy of albums that tell a mind-bending, time-twisting, a quatrain.
Yeah, I mean, technically there's 4-ish.
What's the 4th one? We got The Emptiness, Place Where the Sun is Silent, and... God, I just forgot the name of that album, even though that was the one I was...
I mean, I might be wrong. I could have sworn Where Myth Fates to Legend was tied to it.
Where Myth Fates to Legend?
Yeah, I thought so.
No, that should be way earlier in the career.
I honestly don't remember. I think you're right. I think it's just Emptiness, A Place Where the Sun is Silent, and Confessions.
Yeah, it's just a trilogy. There's a book, and there's the B-sides that they released as well, which are all part of that universe.
Okay, I think I'm thinking of the B-side actually then.
But they have told the story over 3 albums, a book, and, like I said, a B-side. But yeah, it took roughly 7 years to get the entire series, plus a book. And
the book...
it gave me more questions than answers.
So, it's one of those things where you're like, I think I understand this. I'm pretty sure I know what you're going for. But also, I could just be entirely fucking wrong.
Well, it's weird because when The Emptiness came out, I thought it was a self-contained story. And same when Where a Place Where the Sun is Silent came out. Like when I listened to Where a Place Where the Sun is Silent, I was like, oh, this is a self-contained story. Then like I started reading about stuff. And,
when I listened to A Place Where the Sun is Silent, like several times, so it was just like, no, this is tied to The Emptiness.
It has reoccurring characters, but that doesn't mean it's the same story. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess we can go all Stephen King, Desperation, and the other fucking book that I can't remember off the top of my head. Both are pretty good.
Well, it's like American Horror Story has the same actors but different characters, right? Like, I mean, that's all one now congealed mess from what I understand. But it's an anthology. You can have the same characters reappear in different stories. And that's what I kind of thought it was until I started reading deeper into it. And
it's about time travel.
And Tesseracts. Not like Loki's Tesseract, but like actual...
time Tesseracts.
Yeah. Because a Tesseract is actually a shape that can't exist within the bounds of 3D space. So that little cube that Loki carries around is not a Tesseract. It's a cube.
The argument I would say is that supposedly the space in between where the stone sits and the cube containing it is of an unknowable shape. Hence, it's swirling void and unknownness.
Feels wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, it does. But
yeah, no. The Annabelle trilogy, as it's called, is much more wild than that.
Oh, yeah. For my base plot understanding,
okay,
this artist,
just called the artist.
Yeah, the artist creates a bunch of shit, dies.
Yes.
His art does that thing that people do, and where they take things from other people and use them as a catalyst for major changes. And equivocally, his art fuels a dystopic future of a sort.
Where all art becomes banned.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And thus, Annabelle and her current lover at the time are part of a resistance and like, we need to stop this. So they make time travel. But they haven't really tested it, and she is split into 3 parts. Effectively sending a copy of herself to the past. One stays in the present, and one gets flung into the far future. And
there's a 4th part of her.
Yes.
He gets trapped in the timey-wimey of the Tesseract.
Yeah. But arguably, it's also all 3.
Yeah.
It is the truest, but also the most untrue version of Annabelle.
And then her husband also time travels back to the past, where he eventually becomes the artist because he falls in love with the past version of her.
So he is also the stranger?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, but fun. It's equivocally a whole giant lesson in causality about the fact that they can't actually change the past because they create the past. And that even though they hadn't originally created the past, by going through and removing these individuals, it's actually kind of a testament to a deterministic future and deterministic timeline in which originally the artist finds someone, falls in love, spurs his art. When she goes back, she replaces that individual, kind of.
Yes, she becomes that Annabelle.
Well, even if it wasn't that person originally, she just kind of steps in, fills the space of like, nah, get out of here. Like, she garners his attention instead. And then when he goes back,
because she's supposed to kill him to stop him from but the thing is, killing him is what turns his art into like this thing.
It martyrs him equivocally. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's this whole deterministic timeline and lessons in causality, and honestly, the book is weird but also good. I wouldn't say it's the most well-written thing ever.
No.
But it's enjoyable.
It originally started as a short story for one of their college classes.
Yeah.
For one of the singers in the band, which you could kind of tell it has short story vibes to it. It's a short story that overgrew its short storyness.
Very much so.
But the music, the albums, are just spectacular. Confessions might be my favorite album in the trilogy now. I really love The Emptiness, but Confessions just hits different. It hits different. And I still don't like A Place Where the Sun is Silent. That album's just kind of okay. And when I say I don't like it, I should clarify. I don't like it for Alisana. I love everything Alisana's done.
Imprisoned beneath the world, there's a place where the soulless dwell.
Yeah. I love everything they've done. It's just my least favorite of the trilogy. So.
A place the damned call home. A place where the innocent dwell in fear. A place we see only in our nightmares. A place where the sun is silent.
Yeah, and it's also a place where that is stuck in between time because...
It is, in my opinion, the depths of man's soul are not... It is not quantifiable by the depths... It is my opinion that the depths of man's soul is not quantified in a manner of meters or fathoms, but rather only quantified by his proximity to heaven or hell. It was in such a state that I ushered myself past the town taverns, bursting at the scenes with the sounds of laughter and drunken piano playing. If it only had been a different place, a different kind of man passing by this fresh doors of this innocent pub.
You forgot part of a line.
I forgot one of the lines. I forgot one of the if onlys.
A different place, a different night,
a different kind of man
passing by the bar. Yeah,
passing by those, French doors of that innocent place.
What he's doing is he's taking monologues from the album right now because the albums do have monologues. But fuck you, like just stop. We don't have rights to perform those. And also, you're performing them badly.
Yeah, I am.
Go listen to go listen to the Annabelle trilogy. Go read the King Killer Chronicles, or maybe don't wait till there's a third book. But read the Lightbringer series. Watch the new episode of Loki if you haven't. If you have, I'm sorry I spoiled stuff. I mean, if you haven't, I'm sorry I spoiled stuff. But yeah, media, consume it.
Do it. But first, consume this. And also, if you've heard me telling you to consume this media, congratulations. You have done as I have informed you, and you should be rewarded. You won't be, but you should be.
You have retroactively complied to his order.
It's because I know your true name.
Wherever you're listening to this, there should be an option to hit a button that says review.
Maybe. Some things are dumb.
If you would like to, I don't know, make people aware of how terrible our content is, or how much enjoyment we bring you. That's what that review is for. It lets people know what you think of us and helps drive people to the show if it's a good one. If it's a 5-star, more people have the chance to see our podcast. If it's 1-star, I think that makes it where we show up in feeds less often.
I don't know how this works.
I don't really know how that stuff works. Anyways, leave 5-star reviews. Make more people deal with us.
Do it.
And if you leave those reviews, we'll read them. It's been a while since I read one, but it's also been a while since I checked. Anyways, if you'd like to contact us directly, there's quite a few different options available to you.
You can find us at copilotsreview@gmail.com.
Or on Twitter at copilotsreview.
You can also find our website at copilotsreview.simplecast.com, where you can find a link to our Discord, a link to send us an email, our Twitter, or our YouTube.
Or our YouTube, indeed. And also...
which is Copilots Review.
And also, you can leave us a review on your podcatcher app of choice. Please leave us a review.
Remember, I know your true name. Leave us a review.
Don't make me build a time machine and fragment myself into multiple parts in order to come back and find you and make you write a review, only for that review to already have existed because causality and bootstrapping and so on and so forth. Science words, time travel, da 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 da.
Paradoxes.